All right, so that's what this one ended up looking like. Sorry, my video cut off there right at the very end of it. So that's what it should look like at the end. All right, our next one. Let me pan up here a little bit. Next one, trim it up to look like this. So let me see here. I'm going to trim off that and that. I'm going to trim it off here and here, there, and there. And then we're going to get rid of that line all the way down. All right, there you go. That's what that one should look like. Good luck. All right, let's look at our next one. All right, so our next one, what we're going to do is this. So again, just make it look like this. I'm going to start by separating that circle out there. And then I'm just going to do this. Oops, and get rid of that one. There we go. Oh, did we already do that one? Oh, wait. Oh, I did the wrong one. Oh, sorry. Oh, and see, I just ruined that on the video. Oh. Now I have to remember. I have to look. I have to do my cheat sheet. Sorry on the video. Okay, we're doing that one. Okay, all right. Sorry. So we're doing this one. That one there. Oh, here we go. Now I got it. There it is. All right, so our last one here, I'm just going to go to my other screen here so you can see what it is. And I'll see if you can guess what it is. If you think 80s video game. 80s video game. Can you tell what this one... I just thought it looked kind of like an 80s video game. Anybody? Pac-Man. This is one of the little dots you get, and this is a ghost. Doesn't really look like the ghost for Pac-Man, but hey, that's what I'm calling this. Pac-Man and the ghost. So, come back to here and let's trim this up to make it look like that. All right, so let me see. My ghost. What did my ghost look like? My ghost was something... Oh, I just trimmed out the wrong line. Let me try this again. All right. There is my ghost. Okay. And I left that little thing there. And I made this one into Pac-Man. There we go. And there, a lot what I do often is, then I just go ahead and cancel out of it. I just erase out those two. I think it's a little bit easier than drawing zigzag lines over there to trim them out, but that's up to you. All right, there you go. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look down here at this thing here. So we're going to pan over to it and take a look at this thing. What this is, it's a top view drawing of a desk with a chair pushed into it. A little bit bigger chair than what you'd have on these desks, or a little bit smaller chair, but that's okay. So what we're going to do is, I want to make a set of row and columns of chairs and desks using this one. The command to do that is called the array command. So we're going to go AR for array and hit enter. First thing you do is you're going to select your object. So I'm just going to put a box around that first little desk and chair. Once you have your object selected, you're going to hit enter. So AR for array, put a box around it and hit enter. And now you have a choice to make. A rectangular, polar, or path. What do you think for rows and desks, rows and columns? Rectangular. So you can hit either R for rectangular or just click on it here, either way. And you can see it throws them out there and gives you a little preview of your rows and columns of the desk. We're going to make these similar to the desk in this classroom. Notice that these have a space in between them. The way the space works, it's a measurement from this corner to the point on this corner. So right now, you come up here in this little chart, you have 4 columns. The distance between them is 1.95. Change that distance down to 1.4. And notice nothing changes until you click out of that box. And now, okay, 1.4, put them close together, but not quite tight. So let's try 1.3 there. See how that looks? And there, 1.3 puts those tight together. That's nice. Okay? Now, the default there is 4 columns. Let's go ahead and change that up a little bit. Let's change it to 6 columns and see what that looks like. So 6 columns puts them over to there, which is whatever. We're going to change that here in a moment. Rows. Let's go ahead and change our distance between the rows. Let's change the distance between rows to 1.5, so 1.5. And on the number of rows, let's go 300 instead of 3. And you can zoom out and take a look at the 300 rows of desk you have there. We probably don't need 300. That does get a little bit off of a piece of paper. So let's change this back to something that fits in our space nicely. So again, let's change this back to 4 rows, or sorry, 4 columns, with 1.3 between them. And let's go ahead and change it to 3 rows instead of 300. And we'll leave it at the 1.5. And all right, mine's lagging out there. Oh, it's still in 300. 3. Let's see. There we go. Mine was freaking out for a moment. So 3 rows, 1.5 between them, 4 columns, 1.3 between them, and we got a beautiful looking little thing that looks just like that. You can go ahead and hit enter, or hit the little check mark up here to close the array, either one. And you got that set of rows of desk there. Now, one thing about the array command. When you hover over top of this, notice it highlights the whole thing. If you click on it when it's highlighted, it takes you right back into this thing, and you can change this up, and you can change your distance of your rows and your columns. It makes it really easy to edit it. So it's kind of nice if you want to change that, and you can do that very easily there. All right, let's go ahead and close that out. All right, we got a couple more minutes here. Let's do one more thing. All right, so let's go ahead and this Pac-Man guy, we're going to copy him. So we're going to go CO for copy. You're going to select your Pac-Man guy. Whoops. Select the box around him and hit enter. Base point, you just need to pick the base point on him somewhere. I'm going to snap to him right there. That's fine. Anywhere is fine, though. And I'm going to zoom out or pan over. I'm going to put one copy of it right here. Kind of mid-size against that border over there. And then another copy of it over here. Something like that. I'm going to place 2 of them over there. Everybody good? Anybody need to see that again? All right, let me do it one more time. So you're going to go CO for copy. And hit enter. Pick a box around what you want to copy, which is this Pac-Man guy. So I'm going to click here, down and around, and click there. Hit enter one more time. Pick your base point, just pick it on the object somewhere. And then pan over and copy one copy to right there, and another one to about here. We'll edit those where they are in position here in a bit. Okay, so those are into place. So now what we're going to do is we're going to repeat the array command. So we're going to go AR for array again. So select the object. We're going to pick one of those. So we're going to pick this one here. Whoops. And we're going to hit enter. I want to make a circular pattern. What do you think a circular pattern might be? Polar. So go to polar. Now it asks me here, center point of the array. The center point of the array, I just want to pick it over here a little bit. I can't go too far over. It's going to go over top of this one, so that'd be bad. So I'm going to pick it about right here-ish. And you can see how that makes a nice little pattern around there. Okay? Very similar to the last time, it brings up this box up here where I can change and edit all kinds of things. So instead of 6, I could change this to 600. And you see a bunch of them in there. That's a bunch of them. We really probably don't want 600 of those. So up above here, we're going to change that back down to 12. So there's 12 of them. That kind of interesting the way it overlaps, but that's fine. Go ahead and you can just close that array, and that's probably a decent place to stop. We have less than a minute. So go ahead and go close there. If you need help through that, I can help you. Go! Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to use array again. So we're going to use array on this one. We're going to go AR for array. I'm going to select this singular one here. Oh, and the whole thing, though. If I could make a box around it. Enter. We're going to do a polar array once again. Center point, we're just going to pick out here to the side once again. This time I want to look at this last option. It says fill. Instead of filling at 360 degrees, we're going to fill 180 degrees. So it makes it go halfway around. And then at 180 degrees, let's change this up to like 8 items. And you can see 180 degrees there that it's going around. Now this is where the direction part comes in hand. So now notice my arrow is going this way. So it starts here and it's going counterclockwise and around. If I hit my direction option, notice it just goes the opposite way. So that's really all it does there. You can do some other things here with it. 8 items, 180 degrees. It does the math for you that there's 26 degrees in between. You can also do something like if you wanted the distance between items to be 30 degrees. You can do that, and then it changes that to 210 degrees. So you can fill whatever blanks here and whatever information you know. Sometimes on a drawing, it'll tell you there's 9 items filled between 210 degrees or something like that. And you can change that to whatever you want. Let's go ahead and leave it at the 180 degrees, though, however, with the 8 items, and let the computer do the math of the 26 degrees in between. And that is beautiful right there. You can close that array, and there you go. Now with this, mine is a little bit large because I'm actually getting into almost these drawings here, and we're going to work with these drawings here later. So I'm going to make mine just a hair smaller. So I'm going to grab that and do something like that. That works. Maybe move it over and down. Actually, both of them, I'm going to move them both down because we're going to do some other stuff up here above. So move them both down to something about like that. And that is great. It's not over to this space, and it leaves me some space up here to do some other stuff. All right, so next, we're going to look at this portion of it. So at this portion, we're going to zoom in here on these 6 circles that we have here. What we're going to do here is we're going to use the new command called hatch. So if you hit H for hatch, it brings you up to here, and if I hover my mouse over here, notice what happens. I can go in there and I can put a pattern inside of different things. I have to see the boundary of it. I can put patterns inside of things. This first one, we're just going to hatch this circle here, click, and hit enter, and call that good. So we hatched it just like that. Now, I found this out this morning. They have changed the hatch command up on me a little bit. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of playing to see how to do our next one. I'm just going to hit spacebar to repeat the hatch command. On this next one, I wanted to do is I wanted every other one to be filled, kind of like a target. So I wanted this one filled, and I wanted this one filled. But notice it won't let me do that all in one step. So they've changed up the way this works a little bit. We're going to have to come back to this one. So this one's just not going to do what I want, so I'm just going to hit undo. So we'll come back to that next time. The next one that I was going to do does, however, still work. So we're going to repeat our hatch command. Up here, right now it defaults to this option, which is the pick points option. I want to change it to the select option. So let's say we had this really super complex drawing, but I wanted the whole thing shaded in just around from the border of it. So if I go here, go to the select button, click on the outside here, and hit enter, it ignores all those lines on the inside and just hatches through everything on the inside. That's something that you will use every once in a while on stuff. Okay? All right, so now, moving on. Let's repeat the hatch commands. Go H for hatch. Now, we've just been using the default pattern of hatch, which is this one called ANSI 32. If you hit the little down arrow here, the double kind of barred down arrow, you can see there's a lot of other choices there. All these ones at the top called ANSI are all just the standard scale that you see here, with about 1/8 inch spacing in between. These next ones with the AR on them are all scaled for architectural drawings. So AR conc, that's concrete. AR shake is a shingle. AR bristed, that's a brick. So all those, AR sand is an architectural one. It's a sand pattern. What we're going to look at next is this one called solid. So click on the one at the top called solid. We're going to go down here to this one, and here I'm still on my select option, so I'd have to click on the circle, or if I change it back to pick points, I can just go inside of there, and I'll color that in solid. Now, once it's colored solid, white is boring, so pick another color that is prettier than white. So I'm going to go purple because purple's pretty, and there we go, hit enter. Okay, so next we're going to again repeat our hatch command. This time I'm going to keep it on solid, but instead of here solid, I'm going to pick something called gradient. What gradient does gives me all of these options that I can do here. I'm going to pick this one as a gradient sphere. And I make it a little 2-colored circle. The default's blue and yellow. I don't know why it defaults to blue and yellow. I'm going to go, sure, green and red. Oh yeah, Christmas colors right there. Bam. Beautiful. You can do whatever color you want. Makes kind of a little gradient bullet type thing going on there. that is a great place to stop. We have 2 more of these to do.